Sir Mark Prescott is the third baronet, trains at Heath House in Newmarket. He took over the yard on the retirement of Jack Wall in 1970, to whom he was assistant trainer. Interestingly, the yard famously traces back to Tregonwell Frampton, who was England's first professional trainer. Sir Mark is highly respected as a patient trainer and is a famously skilled placer of racehorses. A great man to land a gamble, I was told. Somebody meanly said about him that he's a great man to land a gamble in a handicap with a Group 1 horse. Great horses such as Alanova, 3 Group 1 wins, Albaroda, 5 group races including 2 champion stakes, Hooray, champion filly 2011, Pivotal, famous stallion, champion British sprinter, and my own favourite actually, a horse named Spendrifter, 13 wins at 2, including 10 consecutively. All these horses have gone through his hands. He trains a string of approximately 70 horses each year and is in the very lucky position to be able to turn horses away. He has trained over 1,600 winners, and I note with interest that in 2012 he has an impressive strike rate of 30% wins with 3-year-olds. Sir Mark has also written a chapter in the recently published book, A History of Veterinary Practice in Newmarket, where his recollections of the Newmarket vet Fred Day from Reynolds House and the practice that is now Newmarket Equine Hospital are informative and very entertaining. We are very grateful for him agreeing to speak to us here today and for sticking to a promise he made to us, even after a subsequent invitation to dinner with the Queen this evening. For this reason, Sir Mark has asked to be excused immediately after his talk so that he can head back to London to fulfil this other appointment. I've been in practice myself for quite some time, and through much of the time that Sir Mark has been training horses, and in my veterinary time, things have progressed from physics, blisters, firing, indeed, through to x-rays. Then we came along ultrasound scanning for pregnancies. That was followed by digital x-ray, MRI, scintigraphy, and now overland scope. So it has been a wonderful journey for the likes of me and for my veterinary colleagues. And so I'll be very interested to hear Sir Mark's view on this topic. Sir Mark Prescott.
Well, he's just about covered everything there that I was going to say, but I'm very grateful to you all for coming, and I'm very grateful to have the chance of speaking to you all. I've trained at Newmarket now for 44 years, which is a long time. And to put it in perspective for you, when I started there were 35 trainers and 750 horses, and there's now 82 trainers and 2,750 horses. Of those 35 trainers when I started, 9 of them were either War or Jarvis. So it was very much a closed shop, and the old-time trainers really hated me. You know, they really hated somebody who was starting age 20. And I always hope that we're more helpful now to the next generation that comes along, but they did everything they possibly could to get in my way. I think Mr. Humphrey Cottrell, who was a grand man once you got to know him, but he particularly disapproved of me. And he used to ride a spotted pony, and it never ever, Appaloosa pony, we'd never ever seen him trot. So we used to have a competition with ourselves. Anybody who could see Humphrey trot got 20 points. If you could get John Oxley to say good morning to you, you got 50 points, and so on, you see. Anyway, when you started training those days, you were given a handbook in Newmarket, and it had all the regulations of using the heath. And regulation 25, subsection B2, stated that you weren't allowed to loose your hack on the heath. But all the trainers, when they were changing, jockeys used to loose their hack. And I loosed my hack, and we were having starting gate practice. Great fun. Stalls is a nightmare. Starting gate was tremendous fun. And they used to, 2-year-olds used to canter out under the gate, and then you'd pull it up slowly, and then you'd come quicker and quicker, and then it would go with a thwack, and all the lads would, and off we'd go, you know. It used to be great fun. And our old hack was loosed, and he would stand for 364 days on the heath perfectly. But of course, when the starting gate went up and all the 2-year-olds went roaring off, he stuck his flag up, galloped off up the heath, and he bisected Humphrey Cottrell's string to such effect that the Appaloosa pony burst into a canter with it. I thought, oh my God. Anyway, I ran and being very, very aware of how junior I was. It was, you know, when you're running in those dreams, you're running in treacle and you can't get there. You know. I eventually got there and I said, oh, Mr. Cottrell, I'm so sorry. And Mr. Cottrell said, don't worry, dear boy. He said, you'll be hearing more of this, mark my words. So I was silly. Anyway, next day, 2 days later, I got a letter from the Jockey Club in London drawing my attention to Rule 25B, subsection 2, that the hack should not be loosed on the heath, that my licence was issued subject to my obeying new market regulations, and that if a senior trainer took exception again, my licence would be removed. So I just was very chippy in those days, so I stormed up to Mr. Cottrell. And I said, oh, Mr. Cottrell, you'll be pleased to hear I got a letter from London yesterday. He said, well, we all have to learn, you know, we all have to. I said, exactly. But I shall repay the compliment, and I shall watch your string with the greatest care. And the first time I see them breaking one of these regulations, I shall report you. So he said, do whatever you like. Anyway, 2 years went by. But God is good if you wait. God is good if you wait. And Mr. Cottrell came back from going to South Africa, bronzed, tanned and handsome. He used to disappear for 2 months. He's out on the spotted pony, which is now about 30 and can hardly walk. And a great big chestnut colt reared up and fell over backwards on the walking ground. The lad never moved a muscle. The chestnut colt thundered off. And as you all know, if gentlemen prefer blondes, all chestnut colts just love spotted ponies. And to my intense delight, this chestnut colt fixed itself on the back of Humphrey's pony with an enormous erection slapping on its chest. And Humphrey beating his pony, saying, good God, get back, you brute. And as I rode by on my hack, Mr. Cottrell said, Mark, he said, help, good God, at any moment this is going to do something terrible. So I said, Mr. Cottrell, you've no idea how I'd love to help. But Rules 25, subsection B, number 2 states I cannot loose my hack on the heath, so I just have to ride beside you and watch you.